Looking at today, the Fed has gone soft, Wall Street is in chaos, and meme coins are being issued left and right. Can Bitcoin still take off? Binance's new token surged 7,000 times in just 3 days. Is this a get-rich-quick miracle or a market manipulation trap? Will Bitcoin's 4-year destiny cycle be rewritten? It's Thursday, October 19th, and this is BTV Chinese Channel's Where is BChain? I'm Michael. Now let's look at the most important 24-hour data summary in the crypto world. First, Wall Street. Things have really been turbulent these past couple of days. Morgan Stanley said the US government shutdown will last at least 10 days, and in the worst case, it could be a month. Goldman Sachs came out to refute this, saying, no way it drags on until October 15th. Why? Because that's when the military gets paid. If the soldiers don't get their salaries, even the White House might not be able to handle the fallout. So the market has already given its answer. On Polymarket, 85% of people are betting that the shutdown will drag on past the 15th, and confidence that Congress can pass the bill by the end of the month is only at 76%. So just as everyone was watching the show, the Federal Reserve suddenly softened its stance. The minutes made it very clear. Most officials believe it's time to cut rates, and the tightening cycle is very likely over. As a result, you can see the market's attitude changed in an instant. US stocks soared, AMD jumped 11%, Nvidia rose 2%, and as for Bitcoin, it broke new highs twice in a row, surging from 108,000 all the way up to around 126,000. This is the highest point in history, and from now on, it should become routine for Bitcoin to keep hitting new highs. So the current situation is that fiscal policy is in conflict while monetary policy is loosening. As soon as liquidity warms up, risk assets immediately bounce back. Therefore, what we need to watch next is whether the Federal Reserve can truly confirm a rate-cutting path. Looking at it now, this round of structural gains for Bitcoin seems clear. This is just the warm-up. Alright, let's take a look at another development. The US-based public blockchain, Coinbase's own project Base, is about to launch its token. This is something that can no longer be kept under wraps. According to the block, Base is currently hiring for a position called Token and Governance Research Specialist. What will this person do? Set goals, chart the course, and work on decentralization. So just hearing about this role, you know it's not some minor job. They're preparing for something big. Coinbase even added some flair to the job posting, saying this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You can personally help shape the future of BaseChain. To put it bluntly, this is your chance, buddy. The opportunity has arrived. This is your shot at making a fortune. At the same time, on the macro level, things are also looking up for the crypto world. Bitcoin spot ETFs have attracted $5,743,000,000 in inflows over 8 consecutive days, and Ethereum ETFs have brought in $1,961,000,000. Bitcoin has hit new all-time highs twice and is now fluctuating around the $122,000 mark. If you ask me, this round of the market is a classic case of institutions returning, liquidity flowing back in, policies loosening up a bit, more ETFs coming in, and retail investors getting more restless. If capital keeps pouring in like this for another 2 weeks, Bitcoin is very likely to hit new highs again by mid-October, and I believe Ethereum will also see a new round of catch-up gains. Bitcoin's recent rally has been a bit too wild. The Fear and Greed Index has now soared to 72, entering the greed zone, and the market sentiment is even hotter than the price itself. If we look at historical patterns, every time it goes above 70 out of 10 times, 7 of them. Either the market goes sideways or there's a sharp correction, because the word greed is often the prelude to risk. Risk comes from rising prices. Let's look at past data. Extreme fear has appeared for a total of 298 days, accounting for 10.6%. Fear has lasted for 828 days, making up 29%. Neutral sentiment accounts for 27%, or 775 days. Greed has appeared for 738 days, which is 26%, while extreme greed has only shown up for 149 days, or 5.43%. The current level of excitement is a bit overwhelming, but the market hasn't fully completed its upward move yet. In terms of capital inflow, it's extremely strong. Bitcoin spot ETFs have seen 8 consecutive days of massive inflows, and the amount of Bitcoin held has hit a new high again, reaching 126,000. So this round of the market is a result of both emotional and capital-driven resonance. But the problem is, the higher it goes, the more dangerous it becomes. If ETF inflows slow down, and if there are any hiccups on the macroeconomic front, the market could face a sudden reversal at any time. So the smart move right now isn't to follow the crowd, but to wait for a pullback. We believe that between 120,000 and 122,000 is the best entry point. Please like this video and turn on the notification bell to get the latest Web3 news that's closest to making money within 24 hours. We also welcome you to join our membership. From Monday to Friday, we prepare a small wealth tip for our basic members, letting you know where to buy, where to sell, and providing you with take profit and stop loss points. Experience the joy of trading in a bull market with us. Today's headline is still about whether this bull market is still ongoing. Will the so-called 4-year cycle curse be broken by the overall trend? Why do people talk about a 4-year cycle? Take a look at that wave in November 2022. The highest point was $69,000 and the lowest dropped to around $15,000. Now, this entire bull market has already lasted 1,060 days. The last bull market started to pull back after 1,044 days, so people think that if the 4-year cycle curse still holds, then right now is the final stage of the bull market. Is that really the case? Is the bull market really just a few hundred meters away from ending? Not necessarily. Take a look. What was the US dollar interest rate during the last bull market? 0.12%. What is it now? 4%. Now let's look at the fundamentals. The last bull market didn't have ETFs, didn't have sovereign funds, and didn't have institutions controlling the market. So now, if you look at the crypto derivatives market, liquidations are starting to happen, leverage is very stable, and 69% of tokens on-chain are locked up long-term. As a result, there are actually fewer and fewer speculators now. There are more and more people holding coins for the long term, so the driving force behind this bull market has already changed. Will there be a prolonged bull market this time? We can't say for sure until 4 years have passed without a major correction, but when the Federal Reserve starts cutting interest rates and liquidity returns, I believe a slow, steady bull market is something everyone is looking forward to.
Data shows in this cycle, Bitcoin investors realized $857 billion in profits, 65% higher than the 2021 cycle, a significantly stronger willingness to cash out. The total amount of coins destroyed on-chain is 15% higher than the previous cycle, an accelerated turnover of long-term holdings.
Human beings collectively own about $900 trillion worth of assets. That includes equities, real estate like the buildings behind us, precious metals, fine art, all the things we possess. Half of that is essentially being used as a savings account. We own portfolios of companies, art, or houses as a way to try to preserve wealth for the future. I think Bitcoin is targeting that market. It's aiming for a market worth $400 to $500 trillion.
From October 2020 to March 2021, the supply held by long-term holders decreased by 13.5%. In this cycle, from December 2023 to February this year, it dropped by 12.4%, then rebounded to the current 73%, indicating that some long-term holders have re-entered the market. Bitcoin's current realized price is $53,800, and all key indicators are highly consistent with the characteristics seen at the peak stages of previous cycles.
So stop asking whether the 4-year cycle is still a pattern or just superstition. As long as it hasn't been broken, we can play defensively, but don't go all out and empty your positions lightly because the fundamentals have changed. If Bitcoin reaches $250,000 by the end of the year, what's the difference between being out of the market and missing out? And can it really reach $250,000? As for me, I believe one thing, law of attraction. Aim highest, you'll reach middle. Aim middle, you'll end up bottom. If you want Bitcoin to reach $250,000, say $500,000. Lately, everyone's been formal. Why? Because Binance Life increased 7,000 times, market cap hit $500 million, and social media screens filled with "I'm rich, free, goodbye crypto." No, might buy demai, don't buy. So when retail investors and newbies see this kind of scenario, their mindset completely collapses, and they all want to rush in. Dream chasers keep asking themselves, why didn't I see this token earlier? What does this mean? It means you only see who's making money, but you don't see when the thieves get beaten. The crazier the market gets, the calmer retail investors should be, and you need to recognize your own position. Many projects, like for example customer service, Xiaohe, CC, and so on, these projects have extremely thin liquidity. You can see that the holdings are highly concentrated and experts only need a few $1 million to pump the price and make it soar. When you get in, you're basically the one left holding the bag. If you can't recognize your role as a retail investor, if you think you're just one step away from being an expert, or if you think you're already an expert yourself, then your chances of being the one left holding the bag are extremely high.
According to Bubble Map's data, over 100,000 BNB chain traders participated in the meme coin frenzy. Although 70% of wallets showed profits, the wealth was extremely concentrated. One person made over $10 million, 40 people each made over $1 million, 900 people made over $100,000, 6,000 people made over $10,000, and 21,000 people made over $1,000. Still, 30% of investors ended up losing money.
So never be fooled by those screenshots of sudden wealth you see on social media or in your friends' circles. These scripts are set up long before they begin, and by the time you see them and get in, it's exactly the moment they've calculated for you to enter and hold the bag. Whether it's Solana or BNB, it's always the same story with a different look. The script never changes. If you go in, you're just an extra, there to prop up the main players. So in the crypto world, the first thing you need to learn is to control your emotions. Don't follow the crowd, don't chase trends, don't FOMO, protect your principle, and wait for the next opportunity. This is the very first lesson you must learn. So, wealth depends on fate, but survival depends on your brain. Zero commission is ushering in an era of zero fees. It looks like Solana's validators are about to be reshuffled. Gemini's rush to secure an Australian license isn't a shield, it's a matter of life and death. We've said it before, US-based public blockchains are set for a major boom, at least during these 3 years under Trump, especially Solana, which is practically on fire. Recently, its DeFi total value locked in stablecoins was $12.5 billion, and now it's reached $15.3 billion, an increase of $1.2 billion just since last week. What's even more remarkable, this surge isn't driven by retail investors, but by institutions FOMOing against each other. Old money like Galaxy Digital and Franklin Templeton are quietly buying the dip on Solana. Right now, all the institutions combined are holding 17 million Solana tokens, which is roughly $4.3 billion. Even a NASDAQ-listed company called Forward Industries can't sit still anymore. They've officially announced plans to establish a Solana treasury. So the institutions are really getting hyped up.
Forward Industries has launched the first institutional-grade Solana validator node. And this node is no ordinary piece of equipment. It uses 00 fiber optic networks, plus the FireDancer client developed by the Jump Crypto team, maxing out both performance and speed. This directly pushes Solana's network scalability to a whole new level.
You know, I famously led the seed around in Solana. We are one of the most prominent VCs in this ecosystem today, and I've been a very public and vocal spokesperson for Solana for 6 years at this point. And I'm fairly well known for that. Well, it was pretty obvious for me to slide in here as kind of the public face, doing the media and such.
Forward Industries staked all 6.8 million SOL they held, which at the current price is about $1.7 billion. As soon as their node went online, it shot into the top 10 Solana validators, directly surpassing established players like Coinbase and staking facilities. Along with Bonus Staking and Helios, they all took a seat together. Core Circle.
So this time, Solana is really making institutional competition crystal clear. Look at Forward. They came in with zero validator commission right from the start. What does that mean? It means all the earnings go to you. They do not take a single cent. Plus, they staked all 6.8 million Solana tokens, putting everything into the mainnet. This is not just marketing. It is a declaration that they are here to claim the entire validator revenue rights within the Solana ecosystem. From now on, it's not about who stakes more, but about who can last longer, calculate faster, and has stronger backing. So this is more like a takeover of power within the Solana ecosystem. Recently, there's been a piece of news that might seem insignificant, but we need to pay attention to it. It's about Gemini. A US-compliant exchange has flown to Australia, planning to develop the market there. So we have to pay attention to what's actually in Australia. 1/3 of Australians are involved in crypto assets, and the market is unbelievably large. In terms of policy, it's also relatively lenient, so the Australian market is basically an untapped virgin territory.
They announced the establishment of Gemini Intergalactic Australia in Australia and have completed registration. They have officially obtained local compliance status. Previously, Australian users faced various restrictions when using Gemini, with limited trading options, inconvenient payment channels, and high renewal fees. Now, with a local team and payment interface experience, things are taking off directly.
So Gemini was a place where people could safely buy, sell, and store Bitcoin. And now I think we have over 100 tokens. So the space has grown considerably over the last decade. but we believe this is actually just the beginning.
On the team side, Gemini has brought in veteran James Logan to take the helm. He previously oversaw Australian operations at Luno and Bitjet, so he's quite familiar with the field. In terms of business, Asia-Pacific head Syed Ahmad also revealed that the company is applying for an AFSL license and will later launch crypto staking and credit card services. However, they don't plan to simply copy the American model all at once. Instead, they're focusing first on solving the long-standing challenge of payments. Then they'll gradually expand.
The Australian market is indeed huge. The percentage of people involved in crypto in Australia used to be 28%, and now it's 32%. But Australia also has regulations. If you operate without a license, the maximum fine can reach up to 16.5 million euros. So, while the Australian market is big, how can you capture it without breaking the rules? This is an area that no one has really developed yet, but it's also very easy to cross the red line. We'll have to see how Gemini plays it in the future. All right, let's look at today's news brief.
As expected, when He said something big was coming, it really shook things up. Binance Wallet launched MIM, partnered with 4, and the wallet's user base broke 1 million right after getting out of jail. Graduating and still making it onto the leaderboard, plus bonus points for Binance, this move really turned the wallet into a full-fledged game arcade. Suyu has truly awakened this time. TVL shot up to $2.642 billion in one go, a 12.82% surge in just 7 days, breaking its all-time high. The money's back, the protocol is alive, and the whole ecosystem feels supercharged. This chain isn't just locking up assets, it's winning over hearts too. According to a Bloomberg report, South Dakota plans to follow Wyoming's lead and issue its own stablecoin, becoming the second U.S. state to do so. It seems that in the U.S., this isn't just a state versus state battle, but a BVSB situation. Even local governments are getting on-chain to seize the initiative. Jack Dorsey wants to make it possible for small shops to accept Bitcoin payments. Square has launched a new wallet and payment feature, allowing merchants to receive Bitcoin directly without having to convert it to US dollars. This move is all about bringing Bitcoin from the crypto world to the streets. Gold is on a roll too. Spot prices have surged to $4,050 per ounce, setting a new all-time high. It jumped over $60 in a single day. Looks like this time, gold isn't just a store of value. It's really taking off. Gold is soaring.
All right, today Li Tang is a bit harsh, but everyone should know kindness needs boundaries and gentleness should have its limits. You can be generous enough to forgive someone, but don't be foolish enough to trust them again. You can choose not to hold grudges, but you must learn from your experiences. Conscience is one of those things. You either have it or you don't. There's no gray area. So just like a tree rots from its roots, people go bad from their hearts. You don't always need to ask why. If you can forgive everything, then all the suffering you endure is what you deserve. Please remember this, when you give someone a second chance, it's like handing them a second bullet to finish the job they failed to do the first time. You have the manners not to hurt others, but you lack the presence to keep yourself from being hurt by others. If there's no one to protect you, then please learn to carry a bit of sharpness within your kindness. Let your gentleness have boundaries, let your heart have defenses. Protecting yourself is the safest way. If you understand, feel free to like this episode's content. Every day, we help you sort through all the news in the Web3 world, and all the membership benefits are included here. We hope you can become a member and support us in making this channel even more professional. We also hope to lead everyone to work hard together in this bull market and gradually become wealthier. See you tomorrow!